Hey everyone, so today we're going to solve the find all duplicates in an array problem. This is a medium problem, but it's not that hard. So you are given an integer array nums of length n, where all the integer nums are in the range of 1 to n, which means the smallest possible number inside the array is 1, and the biggest possible number is going to be the length of the array. So the length of the array is actually 8. So that's why the biggest number here is 8. And each integer can appear once or twice, which means the array can have duplicate numbers, and you need to return those numbers as an array. And you should be writing an algorithm that is O of n in time and uses only constant space. So the basic solution that comes into my mind first is to sort the entire array, then look over the array and check if the previous number is equal to the current number. If that's the case, that's a duplicate number, and we will do that for every single number. The problem is that sorting the array is not a linear time solution. Another solution could be that you loop over the entire array and you store every single number in a hash map. And during the loop, if a number already exists in our hash map, this means it's a duplicate number. This would be a linear time solution, but you need to store all the numbers in a hash map, so it's not a constant space solution. So how can we find the duplicates with linear time and constant space? It's a bit tricky, but let's learn how to do that. So the problem statement clearly says that our values have a range. It's from 1 to n. So 1 is going to be the smallest possible number, and the length of the array is going to be the biggest possible number. And we also see that in this example, no number is bigger than 8, which is the length of the array, and no number is smaller than 1. And the index of the array is also going to be from 0 to the length of the array minus 1. And we all know that, right? If the values have ranged from 1 to n, this clearly means that all the numbers inside the array actually point to an index of the array. Or more specifically, the value minus 1 is actually pointing to the index of the array, because indexes in the array is 0 based. So here's what I mean. So this number 4 should actually point to an index of the array. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So this should point to the index 3. And in the index U, we have number 7. Similarly, the number 8 is also pointing to another index. So 8 minus 1 is 7, and this is the 7th index, and the value is 1. So you can see that all the values are actually pointing to a specific index, which means that if we have a duplicate number, then one index will be pointed multiple times. So here's what I mean. So we have this value 3, and 3 should point to index 2. So index 2 is on over here. So this number 3 should actually point to this value 2. And you can clearly see that we have a duplicate number of 3. So this number 3 should also point to this value 2. This means that we have a duplicate number. And same for the value 2. We have duplicate numbers. So 2 should point to index 1. And this value 2 should also point to index 1. This means that we have a duplicate number. But how do we know if an index has been pointed multiple times? So here's the trick. You can make the value a negative number, which will make it distinguishable. And the reason is that the original array will never contain a negative number, because the range from 1 to the length of the array. And during the loop, if we see that we have been pointed to a negative number, this means that the current number is actually a duplicate number. Now it might be confusing, so let's go over the entire example. So first we have the value 4. So 4 should point to index 3, which is 7. So we can make this number a negative number. Then 3. 3 should point to index 2, which is this number. So we will make this value a negative number. and then we will be at this point. You can see that we already have a negative number, so you can make the value absolute to get a positive number. So 2 should point to index 1, which is this number 3, so we can make this a negative number. 7 should point to index 6, which is 3, and we will make that negative also. Then we have value 8, which should point to index 7, and we will make it a negative number. Then we are at this value 2, and 2 should point to index 1. And at index 1, we have negative 3, which means that we have already seen that number. So the value 2 is actually a duplicate number. So we will put that in our output array. Then we are at this number, negative 3. We will make it absolute. We will have positive 3. So 3 should point to index 2. And at index 2, we have this negative number again, which means 3 is also a duplicate number. And finally, we have negative 1. 1 should point to index 0. We have 4. We can make that a negative number. And we are done with the loop. And you have an array of duplicate numbers. The time complexity will be O of n because we are just looping over the entire array. And the space complexity is also constant because we are not using any additional data structure. So that's it. Let's write the code. So first, we can create an output array. Now we can loop over the entire array. So nums, I'm going to use for each. However, you can also use a regular for loop. So let's get the num as an argument. But we need to make sure that this is an absolute number. So we can create another variable. I will call it current. And let's get the absolute value. And we also need to get the index that it should point to. So const index will be the num, sorry, not num, it should be current minus 1. And let's get the indexed value. Now we can add a condition. If the index value is a negative number, then we can push our current number to the output. Otherwise, we can make the index value a negative number and store the value at this index. So if indexed value is smaller than 0, we'll push the current number to the output. Otherwise, we will make this value a negative number and store it at this index. So nums index will be index value multiplied by -1, which will make the number negative. And after we are done with the array, we will have our duplicate number inside the output array. So we can just return the output variable, the output array. So this should solve the problem. Let's run it. Sorry, I made a typo. Now it should work. Okay, now let's submit. Okay, so it has accepted our solution. And you will be able to find the exact solution code on my blog. The link will be on the description. So that's it for today. If the video has been helpful for you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on LinkedIn or Twitter as Dadanjan. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.